Hey everyone, this is Landon with Viator DSP. It's been a while since I've released a plugin, but I've got something new for you, and I'm going to take you through it right here. It's called the Vibe Mechanic Mark II. It's a complete redesign from the ground up of my Vibe Mechanic that I released, I don't know, 2 years ago, something like that. So brand new effects, much better sound quality. Got some oversampling, got all kinds of stuff. Let me just show you the song that we're working with real quick. What I'll do is I'll play this. I'll go through the plugin and what it does somewhat quickly, and then I'll have a whole section where I'm just running through presets, so you can kind of skip around, see if you like the sound, and hurry up and decide, and then, yeah, that's it. All right, let's see. Here's the song that we're working with, something I wrote a couple months ago. Yep. Nice lo-fi Japanese vibe. So we've got some guitar, some clean guitar, no amp. We've got this violin. We've got some plucked string instruments. We've got bass and drums. All right. So let me load up the plugin so you can see what it looks like. So you've got 4 modules. They can be rearranged. Their order is changed, which is cool. So you've got distortion, effects, tone, and space. This is kind of the default setting right here. Distortion, tone, effects, space. So distortion has a bit crusher saturation model in it. The tone has a couple of things. It's got a 5-band EQ. It's got a couple of controls for a phone effect, that kind of typical phone effect you hear in songs. And then I've got this speaker model, which is a bunch of IRs of some random things I bought on eBay and took IRs of. And then we've got the effects. So you've got some tape, while, and flutter, chorus, and tremolo, which is nice. And then space, of course, you got some reverb and delay. All right, so the distortion, it's got 2 distortion models in it. So it's got a bit crusher, which then goes into a regular kind of saturation. The bit crusher does not go, or I should say the mix does not affect the bit crusher. The mix is just for the saturation, and you can pick the kind of saturation you want here. So let me solo the drums and just do that real quick. All right, so let's do the bit crusher. Here's the resample. Typical bit crusher sound. Okay, got a bit depth. So as we go down, it's going to sound much worse, which is cool. We've got a noise generator, which is kind of like, vinyl crackle and dust. So let's bring that in a bit. Very cool. Bring it all the way down. And then, of course, we've got saturation. Let's turn the mix up. So we're on fuzz. And there we go. Got a couple of different models. You got tape, overdrive, soft, hard clip, and tube. Nice. And then, of course, we have 2 filters, high pass and low pass. Very simple. Cool. Yep. Each module also has its own trim so that you can adjust the gain going into the next module, which is nice. All right, so how about tone? So we've got a basic 5-band EQ. The user manual will tell you what cutoff values are on each one of these, and I completely forgot, so you can check that. But here we go, low. That's probably at like 30 or 40 or something. And we got a little bit mid, high mid, and then nice little high sizzle. Okay, so that's the EQ. Now the phone effect is really cool. It's basically a high pass and low pass filter that are centered around a center frequency, and you can adjust their range, how far apart they are from each other. So the mix is at 100 by default, so let me just show you what that sounds like. Center is at 800, but our range is 100, so it means the full range is open. So let's close that down a little bit. So now we're closing the range in relation to where the center is. So we're basically It's set at it's set at 794. So basically we have just a little bit of the band at 794 with the bottom and top cut off. So let's go back over here. So let's do that, and then you can move the center around. You can also turn the resonance up if you want. So a really easy, simple way to get that phone effect. So let's turn our mix off. All right, and our models. Take you to the models right here. So off, Japanese Lo-Fi. This is literally just a Japanese Walkman that I bought on eBay. And then here's a really nice tape machine sound. It's got a really nice high sizzle. Smartphone speaker. I literally took an IR of my smartphone. Earbuds. And this one's my favorite, this cheap intercom. This actually really does sound like an intercom. It's great. Cool. Okay, so that's tone. All right, effects. I'm going to turn the depth up all the way. So there's the wow. All right, and the flutter. I'm going to turn the depth up all the way in the flutter. And the way the wow and flutter work, the wow is rate in hertz, and the flutter is actually just a percentage of how likely it is for flutter to happen. So 0%, nothing's going to happen. So you can hear every once in a while the really quick flutter sound, and then we can put it all the way up. Nice. Okay. So chorus, typical. Turn the mix all the way up. Let's turn the depth all the way up too. Typical chorus sound. And lastly, tremolo. This one's really cool for lo-fi stuff. So turn the depth all the way up. So the rate is synced to the project tempo, so you can do quarter note, eighth note, triplet, 16th, dotted eighth, and sextuplet. All right. Cool. Oh, the noise is back on. All right. So last thing is going to be space. Oh, and by the way, you do have mute and solo buttons up here. So let me do that real quick. Let's do space. Let's start with the reverb. Now, the default setting, I have the size all the way up, the damping all the way up, so it's going to be as dark as it can be, and then the width. So let me do this real quick. Now, with the size all the way up, you don't really need a lot of mix. So let me just turn the mix all the way up with the size all the way up. It gets kind of crazy. All right. Turn the size down just a little bit. Here's the damping. So you can hear how there's no low pass on the actual reverberation. And then the width. So now it sounds like the reverb is right in the center. Cool. That's reverb. And lastly, delay. So the delay also has a rate. So it's got quarter, eighth, triplet, 16th, dotted eighth, and sextuplet. 50% default feedback. And it also has a damping, and I have it set at 1,000 by default. There you go. Some nice delay. Turn triple on real quick. And look at that. I said I was going to try to be quick, and I really got stuck in the weeds. But here we go. That is the basic idea. I've got a lot of presets. I'll show you the A/B real quick, just so that you can see how it works. So you'll hit A, and everything will kind of set to the default. Because that's kind of like set from the beginning. So let me just move some things. Let's take the noise off. And I'm just going to turn this down and this down. So what happens is when you click the A or B button, the preset will be applied, and then if you move anything, it'll be updated. So let's do this. Sounds crazy. And then let's hit B. See, it'll switch back to the default, and then we can move some things. And now when we switch back, it'll have the original. And there we go. B. That's a really bad example of what to A, B, because they're completely different, but you know, whatever. I'm just going to take this instance off, and we're going to start looking at presets. Let's see. Let's start. I guess we'll start with the mix presets. So let me take this off the drums, and I'll put Vibe Mechanic on the output. Take the noise off. All right, I'm going to start going through some of the presets, and let me show you how they're organized, user. So the factory presets, what I've done is I've organized them by instruments, and I've also organized all of the presets in each instrument by kind of like the vibe. So we've got broken, chill wave, noir, pawn shop, psychedelic, vintage, miscellaneous, and they all kind of have their own things. The synth, vocal, and guitar presets are all very similar. I kind of started with the vocals, and I basically copy and pasted all of that to the synth and guitar and just kind of tweaked them to work well for their range. So they're pretty similar, and they'll share a lot of the same names or very close to. There's also some TV and anime references in here, so if you spot one, good for you. Let's do the mix bus. Let's do some of the broken presets, I guess. That preset works better for drums, but let me put a limiter on the output because I don't feel like having to re-record this. presets. I guess I'll do drums next. So let's take that off of the master and let's do some drums. I'll leave the entire beat on. I think it's better to hear these things kind of in context. So let's put on Vibe Mechanic. Now, a lot of these have very similar names. They're going to be kind of similar vibes between drums and mix because, you know, the volume and the density of your drum track is pretty big, almost as big as, you know, a mix. So for this, in this context, it worked pretty well. But for yours, you might need to actually use drum presets instead of mix presets or vice versa. So, you know, whatever. We'll try it. I guess I don't have any toms in the beat, so that's kind of worthless. So that's drums. I'm gonna do some other presets. I want to leave a preset on the drums right now because it'll sound better in context with other things. So maybe I'll do what was I just thinking? Let's see, was it one of the chill wave ones? Let me see. That one's pretty cool. I'll use the synth for the string. Wow, the broken one for string is really broken. Turn the bits up a little bit. think that's it for synth. I think I liked one of the chill wave ones. That kind of works together. Maybe a little too. Sure, let's do that. All right, let's go through some of the bass. This after images one is cool. I want to show you in solo. So it's just got one kind of delay repeat, achieving that with the feedback at 0. All right, so that's a quick tour. I think some of the presets sound really cool, especially working together. The only thing I didn't mention is that we do have oversampling. You can go between 2, 4, 8 times on oversampling, and then if you're on a stereo instrument or a stereo instance of the plugin, you can do mid-side stuff. So you could do stereo, you could sum it to mono, or you can process just the mid and side. Yes, so that pretty much wraps it up. If you like what I make, you can definitely support my other free plugins and donate to them. Or if you want, you could join our Discord community for Viator DSP stuff. You can ask code questions. You can ask production stuff. We've got all kinds of different types of people in there. So yeah, that'll be in the description. And thanks for watching. I hope you try it out.